Once you have copied those measurements from your measure chart, you're going to paste them into this Excel chart. This Excel chart is slightly updated for the 2026 spring semester. Once you paste them here, you'll take your size medium measurements, copy, you will paste them here. So your two medium columns will be identical. This comparison chart is formulated to do the calculation to compare the pattern measurement versus the target spec with the grading formula in here, okay? So we're looking for these numbers to turn out to 0. You may see small decimal differences for things like the armhole. Something that's on a curve can sometimes have slightly different measurements. Okay. Once you've done this, you're going to save this with your initials, and you'll upload it to Brightspace along with your assignment. The other piece that is new for this semester is we're going to be adding a component to this assignment where we will lay our marker with a plaid or stripe in it. So this page in your handout will give you the basics. So we have a plaid repeat of 5 inches. It's going to be offset from the edge of the fabric by 2 inches. This we will add into our marker. However, on the pattern, we need to determine which parts of each piece need to be on a particular stripe, okay? So on this list, I've listed out every single piece and where that placement should go. So we have the bust line on front and back, the bicep line on the sleeve, the center fold line of the cuff and the band, the hood width measure line, and then on the pocket, we're going to have to determine where that stripe should be placed so that when it's placed on the body, it matches with the body. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is edit line info in PDS and identify each of these lines so that the marker will read them as match lines. Okay, so we're going to go to PDS. The tool we're using is Edit Line Info. You can click it here in the Edit menu, or you can right-click Edit Line Info. You will select a line. So I'm starting with the bust line. And in line label, we're going to type 0 and apply. Once you've clicked apply, you can move on to the next piece. 0. You don't have to press apply. You can click enter on your keyboard, whichever works easiest for you. I'm going to choose my bicep line, 0, my hood width line, 0, my fold line, 0, and my fold line, 0. Okay. Now for my pocket, I need to refer back to my measurements. Okay. So I know that I have a stripe at my bust line on my garment. Okay. I also know that my pocket is placed 2 inches from the bottom hemline. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do is place this extra stripe line on my pattern to figure out where it's going to lie on my pocket. So I already have the one at my bust, which is going to overlap my pocket as well. So I'm just going to go to create offset. I'm going to make sure I'm on add. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and grab this line and I'm going to right click OK. And in value mode, I'm moving to the left, which is positive, and I'm going to say 5 inches. That's my repeat. Okay. Now I just need to know what these distances are. So I'm going to, first I'm going to extend this line. Okay, and then I'm going to go to verify straight, and I'm going to measure from this point to this point. Notice I'm using the internal lines because there are no points on my mirrored line. Okay, and then I'm going to measure from this point to this point. Okay, so I have 1.57 and 1.43. I'm going to use those exact measurements so that the stripe is perfectly exact. I'm going to go to create offsets. I'm in Add Still. I'm going to choose this line. Now you can go ahead and choose your line label here, so you don't have to go back and add it later. And I'm going to click this line and say minus 1.57. Okay. And then I'm going to choose this line and I'm going to say minus 1.43. Okay. And then I'm going to go to modify, extend. I'm going to extend this. This one should be okay. All right. So now I have these lines here. I can delete this line. I don't need it. Okay. And I actually really don't need both here. I really just need one to make sure that it is aligned. So since I'm using this line here, I'm going to use this line here as well. Okay. Just in case there's anything that's slightly off with the stripes or the repeats. I want to make sure I just have one repeat per pattern piece, okay? So you actually didn't need this one. You can delete it, or you can just remove the line label. I'll just make it an L, okay? All right. I'm going to save this. Okay. Now, the last thing I want to do is just check my grading, because if this stripe is moving or grading on this piece, I would need to make sure it was moving on this piece. But what we see here is that this stripe, which is the one we're using to set the alignment, is not moving. Therefore, this distance is also not moving. So this line is okay. This line needs to be cleared. Okay, so I'm going to go to grade, I'm going to go to edit delta, I'm going to choose this point right here, and I'm going to clear the X. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side, clear the X. Okay, I just want to make sure this intersects, so I'm going to go to grade, intersect Y, intersection Y, and just choose this point. Okay, so now as these sizes grade, the pocket will get taller from here, but that straight placement will stay in the same exact location. I'm going to save this one more time. Okay. I'm going to close this and open my model editor. Okay, so in my model editor, I'm going to first make sure that my categories are unique. Okay. This is going to be cut 1, cleared, cut 2, cut 1, cut 2, cut 1, cleared. Okay, so this will be 1, this will be 1 and 1, cuff will be 1 and 1, sorry, cut 2, cut 1 mirrored, cut 1, 1 and 1, and 1 pocket. Okay, so 2 hoods, 1 pocket, 1 waistband, 1 back, 2 cuffs, 2 sleeves, and 1 front. Okay, these will all be in fabric A, and I'm going to save. Okay, no errors. I'll close this. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and make an order. Okay, now in our assignment page, I indicated that we're going to make 2 size-specific orders. We're going to make an extra small order and an extra large order. Okay, so when we're making our orders, we're going to label this 2604. And the first one I'm going to do is going to be an extra small. I'm going to type in 1 for my quantity of extra small. And I'm going to go and put in my fabric width, which is 50. Okay, I'm going to save this. I'm going to process this. So all I'm getting is one extra small. Okay. Now, while this is open, I can go ahead and just rename this extra large. I'm going to change this to 0. I'm going to change this to 1. The fabric width does not change. I am going to save this, and I'm going to process it. Okay, so now what I have in my AccuMark is, that should not have an A there. Oh yes, it does. It's the fabric. Okay. Now what I should have in my AccuMark Explorer is an extra small and an extra large A order and an extra small and an extra large A marker. Okay. So what we're going to do with the marker is we are going to go to the fabric tab and we're going to use plaid, not stripe. When you do a stripe, it gives you a horizontal stripe, okay, or vertical on the garment, horizontal on the screen. And we want a horizontal on the garment. So we're going to type in 5. The offset value I gave you was 2, okay? So that just tells you where that first stripe is going to start. Okay, and then we are going to take our pieces and we are going to snap them. Now notice when you snap them, you get this yellow, this green arrow that tells you this is snapping because we added that line into our patterns. Okay, so this should work for all of your pieces and it'll use the point that you indicated. Okay, we're not going to do any flipping of pieces. We're going to use the orientation that was given to us. Okay. Let's see where we can squeeze these. Do your best. Okay, it's not going to be perfect because of the print placement. Okay, that is part of the exercise. Let's see. I need my pocket. Oops, my pocket wasn't mirrored. Okay, make sure you mirror those pockets. If this ever happens to you, you have to go back to your model and mirror the piece, save it, reprocess your orders, relay your markers, okay? So once you've laid this, you're gonna use your marker length to calculate your cost per unit, okay? So all this information is here, 2 specific size orders. You'll end up with an extra small marker and an extra large marker. This again reiterates your plaid placements, your snapped pieces, and then your fabric cost calculation. You're going to calculate the extra small and the extra large and give me both costs at $10 a yard for the fabric. Okay.